The biggest World Cup ever might not happen where you think. While every billboard still shows stars, stripes, and maple leaf smiles, the people paid to keep the tournament alive have already printed second maps. Maps that move the whole show north and south, erasing the United States overnight. Those maps aren't hype, they're signed, sealed, and sitting in a Zurich safe, and the trigger finger is itchier than any fan realizes. The first page of the contingency pack lists 11 stadiums that could be removed from the schedule. Monterrey's BBVA, Toronto's BMO, Vancouver's BC Place, each circled in green ink that means ready in 10 days. The leaked email chain calls it Operation Plan B, dated 3 days after the Miami Copa America fiasco. Infantino's signature is scrawled across the bottom, authorizing FIFA to notify broadcasters within 6 hours if the Department of Homeland Security bumps the threat level to orange. No announcement, no press conference, just a quiet switch in the graphics package you'll see on TV. One line of code changes Dallas to Toronto, and most viewers won't even notice the kickoff times moved an hour earlier, but the ticket in your pocket becomes worthless paper unless you can sprint across the border before kickoff. That's not paranoia. That's paragraph 3 of the internal brief, stamped commercially sensitive. And Europe's richest federations aren't waiting for the stamp. Back in March, the German, French, and Spanish FAs each received a 2-page encrypted memo from FIFA logistics chief titled Alternative Air Corridor Protocol. It lists 4 Canadian and 2 Mexican Air Force bases that can clear a Charter 747 in under 90 minutes if the FAA locks US airspace. The memo also tells team buses to park nose out at hotels for a sprint to the runway and recommends players pack 1 carry-on with 3 days of kit. No one has leaked the full text, but the Spanish Federation accidentally forwarded it to a regional newspaper. By the time they recalled the email, reporters had screen-grabbed the phrase, "Escape window closes 30 minutes after FAA notice." Translation: if something pops off in Atlanta, the reigning champions could be airborne for Monterrey before the public even hears a siren. So here's the ask. Smash that subscribe button and drop a comment. Tell us which country you trust to host the 2026 final. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers and 500 comments on this video alone, because the bigger this conversation gets, the harder it is for anyone to move the goalposts behind closed doors. Your voice is the only part of this story FIFA can't script. Let's use it. Meanwhile, fans are being herded through a door that looks like VIP treatment but snaps shut behind them. The FIFA Pass, sold as a fast-lane visa, quietly gives US Customs a 7-day window to clone your phone the moment you scan it at immigration. Customs officers call it the silent denial program. Travelers enter legally, but their devices are copied, cloud accounts scraped, social feeds scanned for protest hashtags. A whistleblower at JFK told The Athletic that 417 fans have already been flagged since September, most of them German and Danish ultras whose only crime was retweeting anti-fascist slogans. None were refused entry, but all were pulled into secondary for 3-hour interrogations while flights left without them. The program's internal target is 2,000 scans before June, enough to build a blacklist of high-risk supporters who can be turned away at the last minute if cities start burning. Your golden ticket might still scan green, but your Instagram could decide whether you actually see the match. All of this explains why Canada has started acting like the host that never needed saving. Behind closed doors, CSA officials have pitched FIFA on a compressed 48-team bubble running from Vancouver to Toronto, complete with a single secure rail corridor and pre-cleared customs at every stop. The plan even includes a makeshift village on Toronto's waterfront that could house 16 teams in floating hotels. No US airspace, no American visas, no surprise protests. Reformer reports that 2 CONCACAF federations have already asked for cost sheets, and one Caribbean delegate joked that the whole tournament could fit in Ontario's snow globe. The price tag is half of what the US still has to spend on overtime cops alone, and the Canadian government has quietly promised to underwrite any overrun if FIFA pulls the switch before April. Translation: the backup host is ready to go live, and the invoice is already stamped. Someone, however, still has to pay for the chaos insurance you're not supposed to see. Between July and October, the US Soccer Federation funneled $38 million into shell companies registered in Delaware, firms with no staff, no websites, and mailing addresses that turn out to be UPS stores outside DC. The money is classified as private security consulting, but federal procurement logs link every dollar to a single donor who maxed out to the 2024 campaign. Congress hasn't opened an investigation because technically the cash never touched the Treasury. It's just a rich patron buying crowd control tech that can't be requisitioned without public hearings. The toys on that shopping list include microwave area denial devices, drone jamming rifles, and thousands of earmarked cells in converted Walmart parking lots. If the streets empty out, you'll never know who wrote the check, but you'll feel the heat ray if you march too close to the stadium. And the sky may be the first place the whole thing cracks. A leaked Mexican intelligence slide deck, dated November, warns that hobbyist forums are swapping 3D printed drone casings, stamped Q226, the exact quarter the World Cup kicks off. The blueprints fit a commercial DJI frame, but leave a hollow cone big enough for 2 pounds of explosive, smaller than a Starbucks cup, large enough to drop through the roof of an open-air stadium. US agencies insist they can track every bird in the sky, but at Washington State's Counter Summit last summer, the trilateral drill still lost 3 of 12 dummy drones over Lumen Field. If one of those toys buzzes the opening ceremony, the switch flips instantly. Games head north, borders slam shut, and the narrative becomes terror, not soccer. Add the quiet panic inside the broadcast trucks. ESPN and Fox have both requested dual location crews for every group stage match, a redundancy usually reserved for Super Bowls in war zones. The networks refuse to confirm it, but job boards in Toronto suddenly list 50 freelance camera operator slots with possible extended stay through July. Advertising agencies are filming 2 versions of every commercial, one with American landmarks, one scrubbed clean of any star-spangled reference. Media buyers call it the toggle test. If the US brand tanks, brands flip the switch overnight and pretend they always plan to party in Canada. Money talks faster than FIFA, and right now the money is hedging every bet. Even the players are hedging. Agents for 3 European captains have inserted geo-escape clauses into their summer endorsement deals. If the team relocates outside the US, boot suppliers must still pay full freight even though the American market vanishes. One clause, seen by The Athletic, awards a 6-figure bonus if the squad spends more than 48 hours on Canadian soil. When the guys who actually have to lace up start protecting their pockets, you know the risk isn't internet gossip anymore. And what about the everyday supporter who saved for 4 years? Picture landing at LAX with a match ticket, only to watch your phone buzz with a push alert. Game moved to Toronto, no shuttle provided. No airline will eat the change fee. Airbnb stays are non-refundable, and your visa waiver just became a souvenir. FIFA fine print quietly added a force majeure relocation clause in 2023. It promises a full refund in theory, but caps processing at 90 days after the final whistle. By the time the money trickles back, you've missed not just the World Cup, but the vacation days you burned to get there. FIFA-owned research says 70% of World Cup conversation now happens in YouTube comment sections and Twitter threads before traditional media even airs. That means every view, every like, every share is literally a vote to keep the tournament on American grass, or to let it drift to Canadian turf where the loudest critics already wait with open arms. The algorithms don't care about flags, they care about engagement, and engagement starts with the button you're hovering over right now.